What is it like for you to be, to whatever extent of your identity matches this homosexual and Mormon?
It's been a long time since I've thought of myself as homosexual.
Oh.
Definitely gay, and I think for the rest of my life I will see myself as gay and be very excited about the idea of being gay and what that brings to me. But for many, many years, the idea of being homosexual or had homosexual tendencies, it felt and seemed so dirty and wrong, and something to get rid of, something that was, just the idea of homosexual, and it also might just be the context that I grew up in and the books that I read and the people that were talking about it. It always had a tone of negativity to it. So it feels nice to kind of discard that, mainly also because homosexual to me, it just seems so focused on the sexuality.
Right.
And right now for me, it has so much to do with more about romance or the dynamics with my partner.
Right.
It has to do with this sense of being a minority and valuing being a minority.
Yeah.
It has a sense of community, has a sense of opportunity, has a history,
Yeah.
so a gay history rather than a homosexual history.
Interesting.
It helps me to think about those who have struggled, almost like a pioneer history.
Yeah.
So it just seems like this great expansiveness with the term being gay.
Yeah.
So
Cultural sort of.
it's cultural and it's physical, it's emotional, it's big, it's deep, and it will go on. And there's also a hope about what's going to happen with this term of gay and the gay community, and it just feels like it's going to be more powerful and not just out of the shadows, but something to be respected.
Yeah.
So definitely, homosexual feels such like a long-term, a long ago term.
Yeah.
But Mormon, that will stick with me for a long time too. And again, I'm just reflecting back, because there's different stages in my life when Mormon and being gay or being homosexual meant different things to me. And Mormon to me growing up was just this beautiful, friendly, family-oriented, hopeful, energetic, eager-filled, anxious, trying to please people. There's a sense of obedience, a lot of energy to it, and I've really felt this drive to like it was a lot of good things was going to happen. Almost, I guess, the same way of feeling being gay. It's great potential. So being Mormon just had the sense of more effort I put into being Mormon, I could get exaltation. I could become a god. I could get these great mysteries to unfold for me. So I put a lot of effort in being Mormon and tried for so many years to get rid of the homosexual parts of me or aspects of me. And so it really was just trying to be Mormon for so long and hide or get rid of or repent of the gay parts of me. Decades later, the gay part I could not get rid of it. It was just kept coming back. I couldn't really explore being gay much, just again what I thought being gay meant to me, or what the feelings of sexuality, what they would emerge. So they were always in conflict. I have to say my first gay Mormon memory, or actually my first memory, is a gay Mormon memory. I was in a Sunbeam, age 5, and they were. I just remember it just being very friendly, and pictures of Christ and discussions of the gospel, and having really good feelings in I think it was primary school. And then the guy passing the sacrament, I remember looking up at the guy thinking, oh, how cute he is.
Yeah.
And then from then on, everything just seemed like it just got really chaotic and confusing for me, and dark and scary. And so being gay Mormon was my entire focus of my life, trying to figure it out. And I got too obsessive about it, and I thought I could figure it out. I needed to resolve it, and the resolution was to get rid of one piece, the gay piece, the homosexual piece.
Yeah.
So that's in the past.
Right.
Currently, for me, I think being Mormon it's not. I don't feel like I have to resolve the idea of being gay and Mormon.
Yeah.
It's a very different kind of relationship I have with these, I guess this identity. It's not something I have to fix. It's not something I have to improve. It's not something I have to necessarily stand up for. It's more of just living with these parts and learning more about these aspects of myself.
Yeah.
So I don't really, definitely don't struggle with it, and it's not a part of my the focus of my life. Even though, you know, professionally, it definitely is. But my own sort of involvement with these aspects, it just seems like it's resolved. It's taken care of, and I'm not struggling or worried about what to do with it.
How have you found that resolution? Because before the answer, like you said, was, well, jettison your sexuality. And you found that is not wise nor even doable, I guess.
Yeah,
so
I can do it.
But now you're in this resolved place. Is that what you're saying?
It feels resolved. It feels like it's a non-issue. It feels exciting. It feels like it's more of a curiosity of because I don't really try to be Mormon anymore. I don't try to be gay, and I just am those things.
Wow.
And moments that I have of self-reflection, I think about them. I'm curious about them. I learn more about them. I like these kind of interactions because it deepens my own and expands my own understanding of it. But it's not something I feel like it's an obligation or a duty that I have to do something about anymore. All my life it was, I got to fix it, I got to do something to feel the sense of love or to feel the sense of wholeness or peace.
Yeah.
But right now it feels like it's, because I do think these two pieces are unresolvable. So trying to rearrange them, there's not enough, we don't have enough pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
We don't have enough information. So I don't think the purpose of life anymore is to figure it out. I think the purpose of life is to learn more about these aspects, relate to them in a very loving, compassionate, curious way, and then see where it unfolds. I think more or less I've become less of a control freak and trying to control or have a conviction or make sense of or get rid of or improve. It's more of just living with. And so I'm excited where it will go.
Yeah. So the resolution came in not trying to resolve, it was in addressing it in a different way and trying to hold both just present and hold space for them and just see what that brings.
Yeah, well, coming to terms with that, the more energy I put into it, the more effort I put in trying to control it, it didn't do anything. It just made me crazy.
Yeah.
It made me obsessive. It made me too restrictive of one viewpoint. And I was missing other aspects of the situation. And I also noticed that other people were getting too myopic in their viewpoints. And so they were invested in some sort of agenda or need. And in that myopic view, we were losing the fuller picture. My analogy is the blind man and the elephant. So one person's holding on to one part of the elephant, another person's holding on to the other part of the elephant, other people are holding on to the other part of the elephant saying, this is what this is all about. And getting really angry with the other individual saying, no, an elephant is a leg, and no, an elephant is a tail. And no one really listening to each other. And really kind of this chaotic, fragmented, multiple personality sense of just trying to understand, but no one really listening. And so the more I could hear all these aspects of the struggle and see a fuller picture, it seemed like that's what was the purpose of it. Not trying to change it, but just to learn as much as I can to get as much information as possible, and then keep waiting for more information.
Right. I was going to say, because then the question sort of becomes, well, great, so but then we're talking, what do we do? What do you do? What behavior does that lead to? And are there any, in a sense, you correct the word, but compromises in terms of, from one side or the other that you've had to make or that you're making in then living with and acting upon this sort of place of openness that you're in? Well,
the phrase I like is reality is our best friend. So I try to get as clear as I can with reality. What's the evidence? I know definitely that I'm homosexual. there is nothing inside me that I could be heterosexual, that I could be aroused to women, that I would fall in love with a woman. Emotionally, aesthetically, I could,
Yeah.
but I know deep down it seems like it's a truth of mine.
Yeah.
So that, just holding on to that piece, and then with the idea of what to do with that, well, then I have to keep asking myself, well, what are my needs? What would make me happy? What would make me fulfilled? And keeping with that reality based, it's really, because there's so much about being gay Mormon is about what I should be doing, what I could be doing based upon these people's opinions or what we think, these convictions.
Right.
And that's what I had to really come to terms with, that my life is mine, and I have to figure out what's going to make me happy. And that's actually what I try to, I think, provide that sense of autonomy to others, is exploration of what is going to make you happy.
Right.
And I think that corrects the problems that I had growing up, is everyone else telling me that what would make me happy, and me believing it.
Yeah.
And me never having the chance to go, wait a minute, what does turn me on? What does fulfill me? What does make me into a smaller individual?
Yeah.
And I had also just learned more about what guilt was about and what shame was about, and not to take guilt at face value, not to take shame at face value. But the more I learned more about those feelings for myself and what was motivating me, and then the reality of those motivations, what was possible, that allowed me to let go of some struggles, or let go of some agenda of, again, trying to get rid of something that I couldn't get rid of, and actually I really shouldn't get rid of.
Yeah. Can you share with me a little bit more what your experiences were like in trying to get rid of your homosexuality?
Oh.
And it was was it purely in the name of sort of your religious convictions? Was it also having to do with your sense of identity and, you know, what you wanted, what you thought you wanted yourself to be?
Yeah.
You know, or what? Yeah. So why did you approach?
I think it's a combination of my family dynamics, and the religious dynamics, and just the culturally, I grew up in a suburb, and so there was no message of homosexuality. The only message I got was a pamphlet from the Mormon Church of I think it's called To the One.
Yes.
So this a sense that I was the only one struggling with this, with this a sense of I'm this shameful individual, and then the promises that I had by reading from the LDS Church that I could cure myself if I tried hard enough, if I knocked on the door, if I ask and it shall be given. Nothing is with God, nothing is impossible.
Right.
So with these promises, and again, I think I'm a very determined. I have a lot of confidence that if I put my effort into something good will happen. And that, my family dynamics of trying to please and trying to be the good boy, I think that sort of personality trait with these promises from the Mormon Church, so that if I put enough effort into it, then I would get the blessings.
Yeah.
So that got me going for many years, and many decades actually.
Wow.
But every time I couldn't make it happen, then I would keep seeing myself as the failure.
Yeah.
So I wasn't trying hard enough, or I wasn't doing, I wasn't fighting against Satan enough, or I was too weak. So I would have to try once again.
Because God in that dynamic is perfect, so can't fault him, right?
Yes.
So the fault must lie with you.
Well, I couldn't get rid of God either.
Right.
And so I would fall in love, in my 20s, I would fall in love with somebody, and that would just come naturally, and I would desire to be with this man. But then I had this conflict of God, and I could not get rid of God. He was too big of a concept. And so I had to get rid of the boyfriend. So I would have to end it with the boyfriend, and it would break my heart, it would break his heart. And then I would attach myself to obey God again. I could obey God enough. And then I would feel, not necessarily lonely, but just a sense of passion. I've just come to learn that I'm a passionate individual, and I would desire to be in love again. So I would fall in love again, or I would be sexual again and feel bad about it, and then put it away and try to be Mormon again. Right. And that's what the craziness was, is gay or Mormon, or Mormon. It wasn't a sense of I could be both at the same time.
Yeah.
And actually it was when I was 27 years old when I read Peculiar People. It was truly a catalytic moment for me, because I realized it was the very first time that I read gay Mormons who were happy. I had never even imagined that I could be gay and Mormon and happy. And it just opened up my mind and reframed it to try something different. So rather than trying to get rid of something or control it or to shame myself or to hate myself or to improve myself, it was really trying what do these two aspects mean for me.
Integrate, accept your wholeness as it is.
Right. How to have a spiritual sexuality or a sexual spirituality.
So, but you did put your faith, I guess, or your efforts, your passion into some sort of aversion therapy, is that right? Or did you try some reparative
well, at age
therapies?
21, after my mission, I talked to my bishop. I told my girlfriend that I had a boyfriend. It was my first boyfriend.
Wow.
I told her, and she told my bishop. So I was brought into the bishop.
Was this at BYU or?
No, I actually, it's a long story. I
Okay.
was not able to go to BYU.
Okay.
I couldn't stop masturbating.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I'm sorry for the assumption of BYU.
Yeah, actually I wanted to go to BYU, but again, there's assumption because I couldn't stop being sexual, that I wasn't good enough. So, but the idea being, so my bishop brought me in, and I told him that I had homosexual tendencies, and then I had an interview with the stake president, and that's when he told me that about conversion therapy.
Okay.
And it was this moment of, you're kidding, I can really get rid of the gay. It was very exciting for me. It was intellectual, which I'm a thinker. So it was it helped. It really engaged me with this idea of it's possible. The theories made sense to me, and so from 21, I think I only did it for like 6 months, the therapy itself. But the tapes that I was given and the booklets and the principles, they stuck with me for about 6 years.
Wow.
So after the therapy, I actually went and moved out, went to try to be gay for a while, and then I would go back to being Mormon. But the principles of conversion therapy, of reparative therapy, that there's a reason why I had these feelings, and I could get rid of them if I just was manly enough.